Good day, everyone. We're going to discuss on the significant milestone in the development of our educational system. So we're going to discuss on the establishment of free public secondary education and the nationalization of secondary schools. So this topic is crucial as it highlights the government's commitment to making secondary education accessible to all and ensuring its standardization across the country. So first, we're going to discuss on the historical context and the legal foundations. So to understand how free public secondary education was established, it is important to trace its legal foundations. So one of the most important legislative measures was the enactment of the Republic Act number 6655, also known as the Free Public Secondary Education Act of 1988. So this law will provide a free tuition to students in public secondary schools, eliminating financial barriers that hindered access to education. Moreover, the nationalization of secondary schools was part of the broader movement to centralize educational governance under the Department of Education. So, this process aimed to ensure consistent policies, quality standards, and equitable distribution of resources across all public secondary schools. Now we're going to discuss about the key provisions of Republic Act number 6655. The first is the free tuition for secondary students. So the public secondary schools were mandated to waive tuition fees for all students, making education more accessible. The second one is the coverage of scope. The law covered all government-operated secondary schools that allows students from various economic backgrounds to enroll. We have the third one, the funding and budget allocation. So the national government took responsibility for funding public secondary education, ensuring sustainability and consistency in its implementation. And the fourth one is the impact of enrollment and accessibility. The passage of this law led to a significant increase in secondary school enrollment and reducing dropout rates and providing more students with opportunities for higher education. Now, for the nationalization of secondary schools, it is a process in which initiated to bring public secondary schools under the jurisdiction of the national government. Some key points regarding nationalization include first is the uniform educational standards. So, by placing schools under the centralized authority, the government ensured that the secondary education followed its standardized curriculum and quality assurance measures. The second one is the teacher employment and benefits. The nationalization of schools ensured that the teachers receive government mandated salaries as well as the benefits and the professional development opportunities. And then the last one is the infrastructure and resource allocation. Nationalized schools were able to receive better funding and facilities, improving the overall quality of secondary education. Now let's proceed to the legal and ethical considerations. First, we have this right to education. Establishment of the free secondary education is rooted in the constitutional mandate that guarantees the right to education for all Filipino citizens. The second was the equity and inclusion. This policy promoted social equity by providing education opportunities to marginalized and economically disadvantaged students. And the third one is the challenges and ethical dilemmas. Despite its success, issues such as classroom overcrowding, teacher shortages, and budget constraints remain challenges that need continuous government intervention. So we are now in the last part, in the conclusion. So in summary, the establishment of free public secondary education and the nationalization of secondary schools were pivotal reforms that transforms the Philippine education system. So these initiatives have played a crucial rule in making secondary education more accessible and equitable, benefiting generations of students. However, there is still need for continued policy and also the improvements and investments to address current challenges and ensure that every child receive quality education.